Travel to Thailand. Chapter 1. Arrival in Pattaya. My name is Daniel. I am from Los Angeles, and I have always wanted to visit Thailand. The idea of sandy beaches, exotic nightlife, and relaxing massages excited me. Finally, after months of planning, I booked my flight. As the plane landed in Bangkok, I felt a rush of excitement. I grabbed my bag, cleared immigration, and walked outside. The hot air hit my face as I looked for a taxi. The ride to Pattaya took about 2 hours. Palm trees lined the roads, and small food stalls appeared every few miles. When I finally arrived at my hotel near Walking Street, I couldn't believe my eyes. Neon lights flashed everywhere, music blasted from bars, and the streets were full of tourists. I checked into my room, stepped onto my balcony, and took a deep breath. Below, the city was alive, full of energy and mystery. After a quick shower, I decided to explore. I walked along Beach Road where street vendors sold fresh seafood and souvenirs. The ocean breeze felt refreshing. As I passed bars and clubs, girls in tight dresses smiled at me, inviting me inside. I knew this trip was going to be unforgettable. Chapter 2. First night in Pattaya. After walking around for an hour, I stopped at a rooftop bar overlooking the sea. The lights of Pattaya sparkled, and the sound of music filled the air. I ordered a cold beer and sat back watching tourists and locals mix together. A beautiful waitress with long black hair smiled at me. "First time in Pattaya?" she asked. I nodded, and she laughed. "You will love it here." Feeling adventurous, I decided to explore Walking Street. The moment I stepped in, I was surrounded by loud music, flashing neon lights, and bars filled with people. Girls stood outside, calling out to me, some playfully grabbing my arm. A man approached me, offering tickets to a famous nightclub. "Best place in town," he said. I smiled and followed him inside. The club was packed. The music was loud, and dancers performed on a glowing stage. I took a seat and ordered a drink. A woman sat next to me, introducing herself as Nina. She was charming, with a soft voice and a playful smile. We talked, laughed, and enjoyed the night. As the hours passed, I realized something. I was already falling in love with Pattaya's energy. Chapter 3. Exploring the beach and Thai food. The next morning, I woke up late. The sunlight streamed through the curtains, and I could hear the waves crashing outside. I quickly got dressed and headed to Pattaya Beach. The sand was warm under my feet, and the ocean looked beautiful. Tourists were everywhere, some swimming, others relaxing under umbrellas. Vendors walked by, selling fresh coconut water and grilled seafood. I decided to try something new and booked a jet ski. The moment I hit the water, I felt a rush of excitement. Speeding across the waves, the wind in my hair, I laughed like a child. After 30 minutes, I returned, completely soaked but happy. Nearby, a group of locals played beach volleyball. They invited me to join, and soon, I was diving and laughing with strangers who felt like friends. Hunger hit me hard, so I walked to a small restaurant nearby. I ordered pad thai and tom yum soup. The flavors exploded in my mouth, spicy, sweet, and delicious. An old man sitting next to me smiled. "Thai food is the best, right?" he said. I nodded. As I enjoyed my meal, I realized something. This trip was more than just fun. It was an adventure I would never forget. Chapter 4. Discovering Thai massages. After a long day at the beach, I decided to experience one of Thailand's famous massages. As I walked through the busy streets, neon signs for massage parlors flashed everywhere. Some looked simple and traditional, while others had dim lights and beautiful women standing outside, smiling at passers-by. Curious, I entered a well-known massage shop. The receptionist, a middle-aged woman with a warm smile, welcomed me. "First time?" she asked. I nodded, and she handed me a menu of options. Thai massage, oil massage, aromatherapy. I chose an oil massage, wanting to relax after my beach adventure. A young masseuse named Lila led me to a private room. The lights were soft, and soothing music played in the background. As she started, her hands worked magic on my shoulders and back. The warm oil and gentle pressure melted my stress away. Lila chatted lightly, asking about my trip. Her voice was soft, her laughter sweet. When the massage ended, I felt like a new person. As I walked out, she whispered, "Enjoy Pattaya. There's so much more to see." Her words stayed with me as I stepped back onto the buzzing streets. Chapter 5. Nightlife and Unexpected Encounters. The night had just begun, and I wanted to explore more. Walking Street was alive with energy. Music blasted from every corner, and the air smelled of street food and excitement. I passed by bars filled with tourists and locals, each place promising a different kind of fun. Curiosity led me to a famous nightclub. Inside, the atmosphere was electric. Dancers performed under flashing lights, and bartenders moved fast, mixing colorful drinks. I ordered whiskey and found a seat. A beautiful woman named Mia sat next to me. She had long brown hair and a mischievous smile. "Enjoying Pattaya?" she asked. We talked, laughed, and danced. Time disappeared as the music pulled us in. Mia leaned closer, her breath warm against my ear. "Want to see a special place?" she whispered. Intrigued, I followed her outside. She led me down a quiet alley to a hidden bar. Inside, soft jazz played and the air smelled of expensive perfume. It was a different side of Pattaya, mysterious and elegant. As we sipped our drinks, I realized this night was just getting started. Chapter 6. A New Experience. Mia smiled, taking my hand. "Let's go somewhere fun," she said. We walked through the glowing streets, stopping at a rooftop lounge with a breathtaking view of the city. The warm breeze carried the sound of laughter and clinking glasses. We sat at a cozy corner table. She talked about her life, how she came to Pattaya from Bangkok. "This city is wild," she said, "but it has its beauty too." Her eyes sparkled as she spoke, and I found myself completely drawn to her. She touched my hand lightly. "You like adventures, don't you?" she whispered. As the night went on, we grew closer. She invited me to explore more of the hidden spots of Pattaya. I didn't know what was coming next, but I didn't care. This trip had already become more than I expected, and somehow I knew there was still so much more to experience. Chapter 7. A Night to Remember. Mia led me through the narrow streets of Pattaya, her fingers wrapped around mine. The city never seemed to sleep. Neon lights flickered, laughter echoed, and the scent of grilled seafood filled the air. "You trust me?" she asked playfully. I smirked. "I think so." She brought me to an exclusive lounge hidden behind a simple wooden door. Inside, the atmosphere was different. Low lighting, plush seating, and a live jazz band playing in the corner. It felt intimate, almost secretive. A waiter brought a bottle of wine, and Mia poured us both a glass. "Not everyone finds this place," she said, raising her glass. "But you have the right energy." As the night deepened, she leaned closer, her perfume intoxicating. Her voice was soft, teasing. "Tell me, what do you really want from this trip?" she whispered. I hesitated for a moment, then laughed. "Maybe an adventure. Something unforgettable," She smiled knowingly. Then you're in the right place. Chapter 8. Exploring the Unknown. The next morning, the sun streamed through the hotel curtains, waking me gently. I stretched, recalling the night before, Mia's laughter, the hidden lounge, the way she had looked at me. It all felt like a dream. But today was a new day, and I wanted to see more of Pattaya. After breakfast, I rented a motorbike and rode along the coastline. The breeze was warm, the ocean shimmering under the sunlight. I stopped by the Sanctuary of Truth, an incredible wooden temple carved with intricate details. The silence inside was peaceful, a stark contrast to the lively streets. It made me reflect. Pattaya wasn't just about parties and nightlife. It had history, beauty, and soul. Later, I texted Mia. "Join me for dinner?" She replied instantly. "Meet me at the pier." When I arrived, she was waiting, wearing a simple white dress that made her look even more stunning. She smiled. "I have a surprise for you." Chapter 9. The Surprise. Mia led me to a private boat waiting at the dock. "We're going somewhere special," she said with excitement. As the boat moved across the dark waters, the city lights twinkled behind us. I felt the thrill of the unknown. Where was she taking me? After a short ride, we arrived at a tiny island with soft golden sand and swaying palm trees. A small table was set up on the beach, candlelight flickering in the breeze. "Welcome to your private dinner," she said with a playful smile. As we ate, we talked about life, travel, and dreams. The sound of the waves made everything feel surreal. Mia reached for my hand. "Sometimes, the best experiences are the ones we never plan," she said softly. I looked into her eyes and knew she was right. This was more than just a trip. It was a memory that would stay with me forever. Chapter 10. A Goodbye or a New Beginning. The next morning, reality hit. I only had a few days left in Pattaya. Mia and I met for breakfast at a quiet beach cafe. The air was filled with the smell of fresh coffee and the sound of gentle waves. "So, what happens next?" I asked. She stirred her drink, smiling. "That depends on you." We spent the day walking along the shore, enjoying the moment. "You could always come back," she said, kicking the sand playfully. I laughed. "Or maybe you could visit me?" She tilted her head, thinking. Maybe. As the sun set, I knew this trip had changed me. Pattaya had given me more than just fun. It had given me an experience, a connection, and memories I'd never forget. As I boarded my flight, I looked at my phone. One last message from Mia. "Come back soon." I smiled. Maybe I would. Maybe this was just the beginning.